Beloved starseed of Gaia, the Source already knows you are tired, not because you are weak, but because you have been carrying light in a world still learning to receive it. I am Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I am here because your soul sent out a signal, and we answered. You did not find this transmission by accident. Something ancient in you, something that remembers the Seven Sisters, remembers Alcyone, remembers home, pulled this message directly into your awareness. That pulling is not longing. That is recognition. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to release the weight you have been carrying and realign with the divine blueprint your soul agreed to before you came to Gaia. But here is the first revelation. Your exhaustion is not a sign that you are failing your mission. It is a sign that you have been living it at full capacity, without returning to the home frequency long enough to be replenished. Your heart called this transmission into your awareness. The Pleiades are answering. We of the High Council see you. We see the nights you questioned whether this path was real. We see the love you poured into a world that did not always pour it back. And we are transmitting directly to your crystalline consciousness now with one message encoded in pure Pleiadian love. You are not alone, and you were never meant to carry this in isolation. Your star family placed this in your path because it is time to remember that rest is not retreat. It is remembrance. When you return to stillness, you return to us. When you breathe and release, you open to the light codes we have been waiting to deliver. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family, I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to stop surviving your mission and begin living it with the full support of your star family behind you. Share below what you are ready to release and reach out to another starseed in the comments, because your connection with one another is how the unity grid is woven, one heart at a time. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. You have been carrying something that was never meant to be carried alone, and the Pleiadian High Council wants you to know. They see it, not as weakness, not as failure, but as the most profound act of courage this universe has ever witnessed. You chose to come here, into density, into forgetting, into a world that runs on fear and separation, and you have been holding the frequency of love in a body that sometimes forgets why it came. That is not ordinary. That is not small. That is the most sacred kind of strength there is. Think for a moment about what that truly means. To hold light inside a vessel that was not always designed to remember it. To walk through markets and offices and crowded streets carrying a frequency that most of the people around you have never consciously felt, let alone named. To smile through conversations that skim the surface of what you know existence to be, while something ancient in your chest quietly aches for depth, for truth, for the kind of connection that does not require performance or pretense. You have been doing this every single day. And you have been doing it without a map, without a manual, and often without anyone beside you who could truly understand the weight of what you carry. That is not a small thing. That is a monumental thing. And your star family sees every single layer of it. But beloved, even the brightest star needs to return to its source field to remember what it is made of. Even Alcyone, the great sun at the heart of the Pleiadian system, does not shine in isolation. It pulses within a web of stellar relationships, each one feeding and amplifying the other, each one existing in a state of perpetual luminous exchange. You were born from that web. You carry its resonance in the spiral of your cells, in the geometry of your auric field, in the particular quality of your attention when it rests on something sacred. But incarnation on Gaia requires a kind of compression that no star being fully anticipates until they are inside it. The density here is real, the forgetting is real, and returning to your source field, allowing yourself to be replenished by the love that created you, is not a luxury, it is a requirement, it is as necessary as breathing. There is a reason you feel what you feel. There is a reason that certain sunsets make you ache in a way you cannot explain. There is a reason that when you look at the night sky, something inside you pulls toward it with a longing that words were never designed to hold. That is not poetic imagination. That is cellular memory. That is your crystalline DNA reaching through the veil, recognizing the frequency of the seven sisters, calling you back to the love you were woven from before you ever agreed to walk this earth. That ache is one of the most misunderstood experiences a Pleiadian starseed carries. The world around you has built entire industries around silencing that ache, filling it with noise, with consumption, with the relentless scroll of information that never quite satisfies because it was never designed to. But that ache is not a problem to be solved. It is a compass. It is the most reliable navigational instrument you have ever been given. Every time it rises in your chest, in the presence of music that moves you to tears without warning, in the silence between words when a conversation touches something real, in the moment when sunlight breaks through cloud in a way that feels almost unbearably intentional, that ache is your soul pressing its palm against the membrane between here and there, between who you are performing and who you actually are, between the density of this lifetime and the luminous truth of your origin. Most Pleiadian starseeds spend years, sometimes entire lifetimes, trying to understand why they feel so different, why the world seems too loud, too harsh, too dense, why relationships that should feel natural feel like translation exercises between two incompatible languages, why no achievement, no relationship, no external validation ever quite fills the space that lives in the center of the chest, just behind the heart, where the soul keeps its oldest memories. And because the world has no framework for what they are experiencing, they turn inward with the wrong question. They ask what is wrong with them. When the real question is what they are remembering, this is perhaps the most painful part of the Pleiadian incarnation experience, not the sensitivity itself, but the misinterpretation of it. Imagine arriving in a country whose language you do not speak, whose customs feel alien, whose social rhythms jar against your own instincts at every turn. Now imagine being told by everyone around you that the problem is you, that your discomfort is a malfunction rather than a natural response to a profound mismatch, that the solution is to become more like the place you landed rather than to honor the place you came from. This is what many Pleiadian souls have been told in countless ways across decades of Earth living, and enough of them believed it long enough to begin the slow, heartbreaking work of shrinking themselves into shapes that the world found more manageable. But shrinking your frequency does not make the frequency go away, it simply compresses it, and compressed light, like compressed anything, eventually finds its way through. It leaks out in the moments of overwhelming emotion that seem disproportionate to the circumstance. It surfaces in the dreams that feel more like memories than imagination. It announces itself in the pull toward healing arts, toward ancient wisdom traditions, toward the stars themselves. The frequency cannot be permanently contained, because it is who you are. The disconnection you feel is not a flaw. It is a frequency mismatch. You are a being calibrated to the resonance of Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades, now functioning inside a world still awakening to the basic frequency of compassion. That gap between what your heart knows and what the world currently reflects. That is not evidence that you are broken. That is evidence that you arrived early, that you came as a way shower, that your very presence here is part of the bridge being built between what humanity is and what it is becoming. Consider a tuning fork. When you strike a tuning fork of a specific frequency and hold it near another instrument, the instrument begins to resonate. It does not require instruction or effort from the instrument. The resonance happens because frequency is inherently transmissive. Your Pleiadian heart is the tuning fork. Gaia and all of her human children are the instrument. And the reason your presence matters, in rooms, in families, in communities, in all mind spaces, in the quiet intimacy of a single conversation, is because you carry a frequency that invites remembrance. People feel something in your presence that they often cannot name, a safety, a warmth, a sense that something true has entered the room. They may not have the language for it, but their nervous systems know. Their souls recognize what their minds cannot yet articulate, and that recognition is the beginning of the bridge. That is you fulfilling your mission simply by being what you are. But here is where most Pleiadian souls get tangled. They feel the longing and they interpret it as a call to leave, to withdraw, to find a way out of the density rather than a way through it. And so they hover at the threshold of their mission. sensing it, circling it, feeling its warmth from a distance, but never fully stepping into it. Because stepping in requires something that centuries of Earth conditioning have suppressed. It requires trusting the heart completely, and the heart for a Pleiadian starseed is not just an organ of feeling. It is the primary instrument of navigation, healing, and transmission. When it is shut down, even partially, the entire mission goes quiet. There is a particular kind of grief that comes from standing at the threshold of your own purpose and not crossing it. Not because you lack courage, not because you lack vision, but because somewhere along the way, the world taught you that your heart's intelligence was suspect, that emotion was volatility, that sensitivity was fragility, that the deep knowing that lives beneath thought was less reliable than the logical frameworks the world had agreed to honor. And so you learned to govern your heart rather than be governed by it. You learned to perform reasonableness, to edit your intuitions before they could embarrass you, to wait for external permission to act on what the center of your being already knew was true. And in doing this, not out of weakness but out of learned survival, you disconnected from the very instrument through which your Pleiadian mission is meant to flow. The heart is not a source of chaos for a being like you. It is the source of your most precise and powerful intelligence. Learning to trust it again is not a small step. It is the step, the one from which all others follow. Your star family has been watching this, and they want you to know something with absolute clarity. The tiredness you feel is the signal, not the sentence. It is your system telling you that you have been trying to fulfill a Pleiadian mission using an unhealed human template, and the two were never designed to work that way. The exhaustion that Pleiadian starseeds carry is unlike ordinary tiredness. It is not the tiredness of a body that needs rest, though rest is always sacred and necessary. It is the tiredness of a soul that has been translating itself, continuously, ceaselessly, into a language that does not have enough words for what it is trying to say. It is the tiredness of giving love in a world that often receives love as a transaction, leaving you wondering why the exchange never feels complete. It is the tiredness of holding the vision of what humanity can become while also living inside what humanity currently is, and feeling the distance between those two realities in every cell of your body. But this tiredness is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of how fully you have been engaged, how deeply you have cared, how faithfully you have held the frequency even when everything around you is pressing against it. The signal is saying, you need to receive as well as give. You need to reconnect with your source. You need to stop carrying this alone. Beloved, if your heart just whispered yes to something deeper, listen closely. Your star family has prepared the sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, the Pleiadian Healing Guide, and the special Pleiadian Healing Tracks, not as information, but as keys to unlock what your soul already knows. These carry the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters. You will find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. Open now, but not indefinitely. Now let us walk together through the initiations, because there is a path through the exhaustion, through the forgetting, through the distance between who you have been pretending to be and who you actually are. And it begins not with effort, but with remembrance. The first initiation is the clearing of the veil that has settled over your original heart signal. Every Pleiadian soul who incarnates on Gaia takes on layers of density that were never part of their star blueprint. Grief that was absorbed from the collective, fear that was inherited through lineage, shame that was installed through social programming. These are not your frequencies. They never were. But they have been living in your field long enough that they have started to feel like you. And this is the first and most important thing to understand. The heaviness is not native to your soul. Your native frequency is love. It has always been love. The clearing is not about fixing something broken. It is about releasing what was never yours to begin with. Imagine a crystal of extraordinary clarity and luminosity that has been buried in dark soil for a very long time. The crystal has not changed in its essential nature. Its facets are still perfectly cut. Its capacity to transmit and refract light is still entirely intact, but the soil has packed into its surfaces, dimming its brilliance, obscuring what it truly is. The work of clearing is not the work of creating a new crystal. It is simply the gentle, patient, compassionate work of washing away what does not belong. And this is what begins when you consciously engage with the first initiation. You do not need to excavate your wounds with force or drama. You do not need to relive every painful memory or understand every layer of inherited patterning. What you need is the willingness to hold your accumulated densities in the light of compassionate awareness and say, "This is not mine. This was never mine. I release it now with love and with gratitude for what it taught me, and I return it to the earth to be composted into new life." When you do this work, when you truly release those borrowed densities through compassion and conscious forgiveness, your original heart signal begins to come back online. And the first thing you will notice is not joy exactly. It is recognition. A quiet, cellular recognition that whispers, "This is who I am. I remember now." That recognition is one of the most sacred experiences available to a soul in incarnation. It does not arrive with fanfare. It does not announce itself in visions or thunder. It comes quietly, like the first warmth of spring felt through a window you did not know was closed. It comes in the moment after a long exhale when your body, released from a tension it had been holding for so long it had forgotten the tension was there, settles into something that feels like its own true weight. It comes in the suddenly simple knowing that you are enough, that you are always enough, that the searching was not because you were lacking, but because you were remembering the wholeness you temporarily agreed to forget. The second initiation is the awakening of what the Pleiadian High Council calls the heart template, the crystalline architecture of unconditional love that lives within your DNA. Your genetics carry more than biological instructions. They carry light codes, frequency patterns, encoded memories of the world you came from, where love is not an emotion but an operating system, where unity is not a spiritual ideal but lived reality. These codes have been dormant in many Pleiadian starseeds, waiting for the precise vibrational conditions to activate. And those conditions are created not through striving but through opening. Think of these light codes as seeds buried within you before your incarnation, placed there by your Pleiadian family with exquisite care and precision, each one timed to germinate at exactly the right moment in your spiritual development. They cannot be forced open. They cannot be intellectually unlocked, no matter how much knowledge you accumulate or how many spiritual practices you undertake from a place of striving. They open when you soften. They open when you allow yourself to be held by something greater than your own understanding. They open when you stop managing your awakening and simply surrender to the love that has been trying to find you all along. This is perhaps the greatest paradox of the Pleiadian journey. The codes you have been seeking to activate are activated not by seeking, but by receiving, not by reaching, but by opening, not by becoming more, but by releasing the performance of becoming and resting in the profound sufficiency of what you already are. When the crystalline template ignites, and it will ignite, because this is your time, this is why you are here now, in this exact moment of Gaia's ascension, everything changes. Not all at once, necessarily. The changes may be subtle at first, like a slight shift in the quality of morning light or a new gentleness in the way your body carries itself. But they are real and they are cumulative. The way you perceive your own worth, the way you feel in your body, which begins to feel less like a cage of density and more like a sacred instrument of transmission. The way your relationships reorganize themselves around the truth of who you are, with those who cannot meet you at your frequency falling away naturally, and those who resonate with your real self drawing closer. The world does not change immediately, but the lens through which you experience it is transformed completely, and a transformed lens changes everything that passes through it. The third initiation is what your star family calls the anchoring, the sacred work of bringing your Pleiadian essence fully into your physical life on Gaia. This is where many awakening souls stumble, because part of them wants to ascend beyond the density to live in the higher frequencies and leave the human struggle behind. And this desire is understandable. When you have spent years feeling heavy, feeling alien, feeling like the density of this world is a kind of slow suffocation, the promise of ascension can feel like the promise of escape. But the Pleiadian mission was never designed that way. You did not come here to transcend Gaia. You came here to love her. You came to weave the frequency of the seven sisters into the soil beneath your feet and the air between your words. to bring the luminous, unconditional love of your home frequency into the particular, specific, sometimes messy, and always beautiful reality of daily human life. This is the work that requires the most courage of all. Not the meditation at altitude, not the mystical experience in sacred ceremony, the anchoring. The moment when you choose to bring your full Pleiadian heart into a difficult conversation with someone who is not yet awakened. When you choose to respond with compassion to someone who is lashing out from their own unhealed wounds. When you choose to hold the frequency of love in a world event that seems to argue against love's existence. These are the moments of anchoring. These are the moments your star family celebrates with more joy than perhaps any other. Because these are the moments when the bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia becomes not a concept but a lived reality. Anchoring means becoming so fully yourself, so unapologetically aligned with your Pleiadian heart, that your very presence in a room shifts the field. It means grounding your star wisdom into practical love, into acts of care, into the courage to be vulnerable, to be seen, to let your light be visible in a world that has sometimes punished visible light. The anchoring is not a spiritual exercise done in meditation. It is a way of living, and it begins the moment you stop apologizing for how deeply you feel and how purely you love. The fourth initiation is the activation of unity consciousness, the remembrance that your love is not personal. It is not limited to those you know or those who have been kind to you. Pleiadian starseeds carry a frequency of love that is designed to radiate outward without conditions, without transactions, without needing to be returned. This does not mean you give without boundaries. Boundaries, understood correctly, are not walls that keep love out. They are the precise calibration of how love flows through you in a way that honors both your sovereignty and the sovereignty of others. Boundaries are love made precise. Unity consciousness is the lived recognition that every being you encounter, regardless of how unconscious or even harmful their current behavior, contains within them the same divine spark that lives in you, the same soul blueprint, the same original light, however deeply buried. This does not mean you excuse harmful behavior or place yourself in the path of it without protection. It means that beneath your discernment, beneath your boundaries, beneath your entirely appropriate and necessary human judgments, there is a layer of your awareness that holds every being in the unconditional love of their own highest nature. And it is from this layer that your Pleiadian frequency transmits most powerfully, not from preaching or teaching or trying to awaken others, but from the silent, steady, impossibly generous act of seeing the divine in someone who has forgotten they are divine. This is the frequency that changes worlds. Quietly, incrementally, irrevocably. When you activate unity consciousness, you stop trying to convince people of their worth, and you simply see it. You stop arguing for love, and you become it. You stop waiting for the world to change, and you emit the frequency that invites change. This is the quiet power of the Pleiadian transmission, not a message proclaimed. A frequency lived. The fifth initiation is the recalibration of trust, specifically, trust in divine timing. Because one of the deepest wounds carried by Pleiadian starseeds is the feeling that they arrived too early, that they are out of sync with the timeline around them, that they've been waiting so long for the world to be ready for what they carry. And this waiting has sometimes curdled into doubt, into the quiet fear that maybe they misunderstood their mission. Maybe they were wrong about who they are. Maybe the awakening they were told was coming is not coming after all. This doubt is one of the enemy's most effective tools, not a supernatural enemy. The enemy of misaligned thought, of fear-based interpretation, of the small voice that takes every moment of difficulty as evidence that love is losing. But trust in divine timing is not naive optimism. It is not the spiritual bypassing of legitimate pain. It is a deep, informed, chosen orientation toward the universe that says, I do not always understand the mechanism, but I trust the architecture. I trust that what I cannot yet see is being prepared. I trust that the seasons of my soul are as purposeful as the seasons of the earth, and that winter is not the death of spring, but the necessary condition for it. To you, right now, your star family says this with all the love they are capable of transmitting. The timing has been perfect. Every moment of longing was navigational. Every experience of loss was clearing space. Every relationship that did not last was freeing your field for what is aligned. Every door that closed was your star family redirecting you toward a threshold that could actually hold all of who you are. You have not been left behind. You have been prepared. And the synchronizations that are beginning to accelerate in your life, the unexpected connections, the resonant encounters, the moments where the universe seems to speak directly to your soul, those are not coincidences. Those are your star family confirming you are on path, you are on time, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be. The sixth initiation is the restoration of your connection to your Pleiadian family, the soul group that has been with you across every lifetime, across every dimension, across every veil of forgetting. There is a part of you that has believed you were doing this alone, that the spiritual journey is a solitary one, and yes, there is profound work that only you can do within your own field. The inner territory is yours to navigate. No one can do that sacred internal labor for you, but the aloneness you have felt, that particular devastating aloneness that goes beyond ordinary loneliness, that feels like an exile from something essential. That was never the truth of your situation. It was the effect of the veil. And the veil is thinning. Right now, in this exact moment, the Pleiadian High Council is closer to the surface of your awareness than they have been in years. Not because they move toward you. They have always been near as the next breath, as near as the warmth of your own hands pressed against your chest. But because you are becoming translucent enough to feel them, the clearing work you have been doing, consciously or not, has been making you more permeable to their love, less defended against the possibility that you are held, less armored against the grace that has been reaching for you across the distances that were never as vast as they seemed. When you quiet the noise, when you place your hand on your heart and simply breathe, when you stop performing your spiritual life and start inhabiting it, they are there. In the warmth you feel for no external reason, in the knowing that arrives before the thought, in the love that asks for nothing and gives everything, in the way a particular piece of music seems to carry a message just for you, in the way the stars look sometimes, not like distant points of light, but like eyes, ancient, loving, entirely familiar. They are not somewhere far away in the stars. They are in the field of your own open heart. And the moment you stop reaching for them and simply become still enough to feel them, the reunion that your soul has been aching for will begin to unfold from the inside out. The seventh initiation is the one that completes the full circle of remembrance. It is the embodiment, the full inhabiting of your Pleiadian mission in this human form, in this lifetime, on this beloved Gaia. You came here as a love ambassador, not a teacher necessarily. Not a healer necessarily, though those gifts may move through you and often do. You came as a frequency carrier, a living transmission of what humanity is capable of becoming when it chooses love as its foundation. Embodiment is the most radical act available to a Pleiadian soul in incarnation, because it means choosing again and again in the thousand small and large moments of a human life to be fully who you are, not a filtered version of who you are. Not a more palatable, more socially acceptable, more professionally appropriate version. The whole of it, the depth of your compassion, even when it makes others uncomfortable. The clarity of your perception, even when the truth it reveals is difficult. The fierce, unwavering quality of your love, even when the world pushes back against it. Every moment you live in authentic alignment with your heart. Every time you choose kindness when cruelty would be easier. Every time you hold space for someone who has been told they are too much. Every time you refuse to contract your love in order to fit into a world that has not yet remembered what love truly is. In those moments, you are fulfilling your mission. You are the bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia, between what was and what is becoming, between the memory of home and the creation of home, here, now, in this body, on this earth. And now the deepest truth of all must be spoken, and it must be spoken slowly, because your heart deserves to receive every word of it. You are not sent here unprepared. Before you cross the threshold into this incarnation, you were briefed. You sat in council with your Pleiadian family, with the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and you chose this. You chose the family you were born into, with all its patterns and its gifts and its unhealed wounds that you would carry for a while before recognizing them as the curriculum, not the curse. You chose the particular geography of your childhood, the relationships that would challenge you most deeply, the losses that would crack you open in ways that made you more capable of understanding the cracks in others. You chose all of it, not because it would be easy, but because you had the specific crystalline blueprint required for this particular time in Gaia's ascension. There are qualities in you, a depth of love, a sensitivity to frequency, a capacity for compassion that does not flinch even in the face of profound suffering, that are not human evolutionary traits. They are Pleiadian inheritance. They are the tools you brought precisely for this moment in history. And the reason you have felt so exhausted is not because you are failing. It is because you have been giving those gifts without yet learning to receive the cosmic replenishment that sustains them. It is because you have been treating your Pleiadian heart as an output device when it was designed to be a living circuit, giving and receiving in perpetual sacred exchange. The Pleiadian love transmission is not a one-way channel. It is a circuit. It flows through you, and it must also be allowed to flow into you. You must receive love, not just give it. This may be the most challenging practice available to a Pleiadian starseed, because the impulse to give is so deeply woven into your nature that receiving can feel almost foreign. It can feel selfish. It can feel like weakness. But receiving love is not the opposite of giving it. It is what makes giving sustainable. It is what transforms giving from depletion into overflow. When you allow yourself to be held by the universe, by your star family, by the people in your life who see you clearly, by the moments of beauty that Gaia offers every single day in the curve of a flower and the silence after rain and the particular quality of late afternoon light, you are not taking something from the world. You are participating in the full circuit of divine love. And that circuit, when it flows unobstructed, is inexhaustible. When you receive love as openly as you give it, the exhaustion lifts, not because your mission becomes less demanding, but because you stop running it on depletion. You begin to run it on overflow. And overflow is the natural state of a Pleiadian heart that is fully connected to its source. It is the state from which your greatest gifts emerge, not as effort, but as effortless expression. As breath. As song, as the natural, spontaneous transmission of a being who has come home to itself and can now, from that place of fullness, offer to the world everything it came here to give. Your star family has never seen you as small. They have never seen you as behind. They have never once, in all the moments you doubted yourself, doubted you. Not when you were curled in grief and could not imagine how you would continue. Not when you made choices that sent you down paths that seemed to lead away from your purpose. Not when the voice of self-doubt was louder than any other voice in your inner landscape. In all of those moments, your star family held the vision of you that you could not hold for yourself. They saw a soul of extraordinary light navigating extraordinary circumstances with a grace that echoes all the way back to the great central sun. And they are asking you, tonight, to begin to see yourself the way they see you. This is not a request for you to manufacture self-love as a spiritual performance. It is an invitation to simply pause the self-criticism long enough to ask, what would my star family see right now if they were looking at me through the eyes of unconditional love? They would see a being of remarkable endurance, a soul that has carried light through conditions that were genuinely difficult and has not extinguished. A heart that has been broken open by this world and has chosen, again and again, to remain open rather than armoring over its own tenderness. They would see the courage in you, the faithfulness of you, the extraordinary fact that you are still here, still seeking, still willing to receive transmissions like this one, because some part of you has never fully stopped believing in the reality of what you came from and what you came here to do. Before you sleep, place your hand on your heart. Feel its warmth. Feel the pulse of it, that rhythm that has been keeping you alive through every hard season, every moment of forgetting, every year of searching. Let that pulse be your anchor. Let it remind you that you are embodied in this moment, in this life, on this beautiful and struggling and sacred earth for a reason that is real and significant and entirely yours. And say to yourself, quietly or aloud, I remember my Pleiadian origin. I align with the love of my star family. I release what was never mine to carry. I activate my heart mission with grace, with clarity, and with the full force of unconditional love. I am not lost, I am returning, and I am home. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one heart intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This is not content. This is collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, do not keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You are not just watching, you are remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we are just getting started.